What's up, Tackle Warehouse fans? Walker here on this week's episode of What's New Tackle Warehouse. Man, I am absolutely pumped for this week's episode. We've got a bunch of different baits that I, have fished, haven't fished yet, but I'm super excited to get out on the water from a bunch of different brands that I fully support. First up, we're going to jump into the Shimano Poison Adrena. Now, the Shimano Poison Adrena has been a big part of my arsenal. I know a bunch of you guys have had it as your go-to rod for many years. But this one here, the new model of the Shimano Poison Adrena, is just a little bit better. We're featuring a Spiral X core, some Fuji SIC guides, a Shimano CI4 Plus reel seat, and again, a full carbon monocoque handle. There's a couple different things that are different about this model than the previous. The first one that you'll notice right off the bat, I'm gonna kind of punch in right there to that full carbon monocoque handle. We've actually got it hollowed out. What that does is it just leads to a lot more sensitivity, a lot more contact with the rod. You're able to pick up on a lot more vibrations. It's just a really cool feature that I've noticed they started doing on the Shimano Poison Adrena, that hollow full carbon monocoque handle. Still the same Poison Adrena, available in a bunch of different models. Just a fantastic player. One of the more desirable rods that I've seen in a long time. The 2024 Shimano Poison Adrena. Next up, we're going to be talking about some forward-facing baits. Specifically, the first one here by Eis Vogel. Now, you don't have to use forward-facing sonar for this. This is just a minnow-style bait. You could drop shot it. You could jig head minnow it without the forward-facing. But I can see myself utilizing this specific EISVOGEL Wavee shad on forward-facing for a bunch of different reasons. The first one, forward-facing sonar was originally designed to pick up on things that were not water. Now, whether that was stuff that was denser than water, like tungsten material, or stuff that was lighter than water, less dense, like air, shows up so well on those forward-facing sonar units. Now, this EISVOGEL Wavee shad has a built-in air pocket in the middle. I know that's just gonna pop on the screen for me. A big thing that I like about this bait is it's kind of got that triple tail design. You can see here it's got the regular fork tail design, but if you take a closer look on the underside there, the bottom half actually splits off to kind of make a second fork tail there. It's got a flatter tail on there, so it's going to pick up a lot of water, have a lot of action on there. You're probably going to be able to get it to roll really well on that shaking the minnow or jig head minnow style of fishing. Something I'm super excited about. The EISVOGEL Wavee shad, available in a bunch of different colors. I can't wait to pick some of these up and go catch some absolute spotted dogs on that this weekend. Next up, a bait that's been around for a little while, the Duo Realis Versus Shad. I personally caught a lot of fish on this. I'm a fan of the traditional boot tail swim baits. This is just your simple boot tail swim bait, but Duo Realis has done a few different things on this bait to make it kind of a fantastic and a little bit different boot tail swim bait than I've seen in the past. The first thing they've done is they've actually added a ridge right there in the tail, and what that does is it picks up a lot more water, creates a lot more water displacement. You just get a really wide side-to-side tail kicking action there. This is the Elastomer version. So the Duo Realis Versus Shad, like I was saying, caught me a lot of fish. Now the Duo Realis Versus Shad Elastomer version is going to catch me a lot of fish, and I'm only going to have to pick up a pack or two to stay catching fish for a full day on the water. Super excited about that. Next up, something I've actually got a little bit of product testing in on is this Queen Tackle Rollin Strollin Jigheads. Man, this thing has caught me more fish than I can count. It's probably caught more fish on the lake that I fished, Lake Lanier down here in Georgia in our Atlanta location, than I can count. A lot of spotted bass caught on this. I've even caught catfish on this, caught striped bass on this. It's a super durable hook, but the design of it is really what I want to call out. We've got a tungsten head here, so it pings really well off sonar and just has a high density, sinks well, all the benefits that come along with tungsten. The big thing there, as you can see, the line tie is actually on the back side of that jig head. What that does is it creates a almost 180-degree rolling action. This thing, goes side to side and almost turns your bait upside down as it rolls through the water column when you're shaking it. I've learned that you can tie directly to that line tie, and you still get a really good nice rolling action. But my little secret, the secret's out now. I tie a loop knot on that guy, and it just adds the most erratic, crazy action you've seen out of a jig head. Baits that I would never be able to get to roll previously, I'm able to just turn a full 180 degrees on that jig head. Caught me a lot of fish. Queen Tackle Rollin Strollin Jighead. Make sure you guys pick some of these up. They've caught me a lot of fish. I'm sure they'll catch you fish too. Now around the office, I'm kind of known as a tackle snob. I like to find stuff that I feel is done 100% correctly. Now there's baits out there that I really like that have about 80% of the qualities that I would like, and then 20% I'm not a huge fan of. But this right here, the Ryugi Talisman HG Wacky Hook, checks every single one of those boxes. It's 100% good to me. It's got the Teflon coated hook, super slick finish, super strong, durable hook. You're gonna be able to slide that hook right into a fish's mouth without worry of breaking the hook. Great hook there. Then they've got the wire weed guard, hand tied in there and epoxied actually over that hand tie. It's not going anywhere. Sometimes a wacky hook or a Nico hook is epoxied on there. You don't have that tied thread on there. And what that does is it's a good, clean, crisp look, but I found that it allows the weed guard to move over time if that epoxy gets loose or break off some of the arms sometimes. I'm just not a huge fan of having to put on a new hook because I broke a piece of it. I don't love that. Another feature on this that I'm a huge fan of is that heavy wire weed guard they've got on there. But it's thin, so I feel confident that this is going to be able to deflect off of cover, logs, rock, boat docks, bridge pilings, whatever it is, very, very well, but still have that thin wire where if you set the hook, you're slicing up into that fish's mouth, making sure it's penetrated. Fish isn't going anywhere. That is the Ryugi Talisman HG Wacky Hook. Super, super excited to get that in my hands and use it. Next up, we're going to move kind of away from soft baits and go into the hard baits here. I've got some spoons by 6th Sense. The first one is this 6th Sense Flutter Spoon 120. Now they came out with a spoon recently that just was all the craze around the office. I've caught a lot of fish, but it's a huge, huge thing. Big flutter spoon, and we've kind of been excited for this to come in around here, just that more approachable size for a lot of the bass guys out there. There's days where I'll go through the 8 or 9 inch flutter spoons and catch fish, granted big fish too, but most of the time I want something that's just a little bit more easy to maintain. Now this 6th Sense Flutter Spoon 120 is that perfect size, 120 size, super durable metal. I mean, you're not worried about anything like that. It's got your regular concave spoon action, and then that tinsel that they've added to the hook there is eye-catching. When I brought it out on the table today, I was like, man, that is just absolutely flashy on there. Super ultra realistic colors. They've actually got the 3D eyes on there. This one here is the 4K gizzard, which features that lifelike skin print on the front and then just your straight chrome on the back to give you that flash and lifelike finish in that very approachable fish catching machine of a spoon right there. Next up from 6th Sense, we've got another spoon. Now this is the 6th Sense Fling Spoon. This is a perfect snack size bait fish profile that I've already caught fish on. It is just, absolutely perfect. Everything about this I love. We've got the 6th Sense, little logo on the back there. You've got the nice chrome finish there, the 3D eye. What I really love about this spoon is the shape though. You've got your regular fat spoon style there, and then it actually tapers a little bit more narrow than some of the other flutter spoons I've seen out there. This is just an absolutely, again, one of those baits that checks all the boxes for me. Great treble hook on there. You don't need to worry about changing the hardware. Got a nice swivel up there. You're able to catch a lot of fish on that, not worry about line twisting or anything like that. The 6th Sense Fling Spoon, definitely going to be a major player in my arsenal this fall and winter. We're going to jump back over on this side. We've got the SPRO Hunter 65 MD medium diving crankbaits. I'm a huge fan of SPRO. I catch a lot of fish on their crankbaits. I would argue to say some of the best crankbaits on the market. This SPRO Hunter 65 MD is one of their newer ones. I fell in love with this crankbait as soon as I saw it out of the package. It does everything right for me. It's got one of the better diving bodies I've seen. Great bill on there. What I really love about this is it comes out of the package with Teflon coated Gamakatsu hooks. You don't have to worry about changing any hardware on this. Dives 6 to 8 feet. Fantastic little crankbait there when fish are feeding on crawfish or shad patterns, kind of in that diving range. Going to be an awesome player in my crankbait arsenal this year, the SPRO Hunter 65 MD. All right, next up, we're going to be talking about the Mr. Twister Cometa Salt Infused stick bait. A lot of stick baits on the market, but this one just appeals to me. First thing is it's made right here in the USA, so I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of stuff that's made locally. This Mr. Twister here is poured right in the USA. They've also got a bunch of really, really cool colors. This one here is the Cometa Candy Bug. I'm a big fan of that, kind of your black and blue June bug, plum. Just one of those things that, you can never have too many stick baits. This is another great one to have on the boat, the Cometa salt infused stick bait. That's going to go ahead and wrap up this week's episode of What's New at Tackle Warehouse. If you guys liked any of the product we showed today, make sure you hit that link in the description. Make sure you check out Tackle Warehouse on all social media platforms, and make sure you head on over to tacklewarehouse.com to check out all the awesome new products and existing products you know and love.